All right, let's bring in Matthew Cooper. He is the political editor for Newsweek, and he joins me now from Washington. Matthew, thank you so much. Let us begin with those comments from the vice president this morning. Did that represent an escalation in rhetoric from the administration, or is this sort of a line that we're seeing that we've been hearing about since that failed missile test over the weekend?
Well, Amber, I think it's more a continuation than an escalation. You know, the administration is taken a tougher line on North Korea than the Obama administration did, or even the Bush administration before it. And this is a continuation of the same kind of rhetoric. We're not going to tolerate this, pointing to different uses of American forces in other theaters, such as the missile attack in Syria that the vice president alluded to, as well as the use of this very large mother of all bombs in Afghanistan this past week. So I think it's a continuation, and we'll see what comes of it.
So we have actually heard from several members of the administration on this failed missile test, but we really haven't heard anything from the president directly. He's tweeted a bit about some other things, but what, if anything, can we read into that? The fact that he hasn't come out and made a comment.
Well, it's probably a good thing that he hasn't, done a, kind of casual tweet about it. I think, some people wondered whether he'd, be able to restrain himself, or whether he might, exacerbate things. And it's probably been best for the administration and all parties concerned about North Korea's nuclear capabilities that they're speaking with more or less one steady voice at this point.
So you have been reporting a lot on the shifting power centers inside the White House, and specifically about the dynamic between Steve Bannon and Jared Kushner. And I want to read something from one of your pieces. It says, quote, "The most important question about Steve Bannon and Jared Kushner isn't whether they can find peace or whether Bannon can somehow be forced out of his role in the White House. It's why they are in jobs for which they are utterly unprepared and completely underqualified." So what is the answer to that question?
Well, I think, the president liked him. And the president, look, is any president's free to appoint who they want. I think when we look back on this period, it'll probably be seen as a mistake having given Steve Bannon and Jared Kushner such big jobs with such wide-ranging, free-floating portfolios. I think that kind of, first of all, that's kind of a recipe for trouble in any administration, no matter who you put in, but sometimes it can work. In this case, it hasn't, because neither really has either the government experience or the right kind of private sector experience to really, handle the kinds of things they've been given, whether it was Steve Bannon doing the congressional negotiations for health care, which failed, or Jared Kushner being given a leading role in everything from opioid addiction to reinventing government. Right. So you need, look, they could be in other jobs, I think, and that may be where they end up. But I think when you give people who aren't ready for such a big job, those kind of jobs, that's when you get in trouble.
Right. Before we let you go, I want to ask you about the special election that's going to be taking place in Georgia tomorrow. It's one of a handful of topics the president has tweeted about this morning, and he really blasted the Democratic candidate in that race. Is this an indication of just how important this is? Tell me, is it important?
Well, sure it is. I mean, look, this was a pretty close congressional district in the presidential race. President Trump only won it by a point or two. So, it's competitive. It's a pretty good opportunity for angry Democrats to rally and maybe pick up a seat. And, the administration's pushing back. The president's done robocalls, and Republicans have put resources in to try to hold the seat. But it's one the Democrats think they can pick up.
Matthew Cooper of Newsweek, we certainly appreciate your time.
Thanks, Amber.